1 year after arriving in the settlement, Arlen and the children struggled to find their place. The kids, too young for most work, had to adapt quickly. Each child chose a path they felt most suited for. One boy, Lyle, had a passion for reading, instilled by his late mother. He cherished a tattered book she had read to him, though its meanings were mostly beyond his understanding. Another child took to farming, another to hunting, and a few showed a surprising interest in fighting, driven by a desire to one day defeat the monsters plaguing their world. To combat these creatures, humans needed crystals harvested from the monsters that emerged from the portals. Consuming these crystals could enhance a person's strength, speed, and health, but acquiring one was a near impossible feat for ordinary people. The crystals were prohibitively expensive, and even selling his home and all his possessions wouldn't afford Arlen one. Arlen's meager savings dwindled as the months passed. Work was scarce, and everyone was desperate for employment. He returned to his old survival skills, scavenging for tech scraps in dangerous territories. These trips were perilous, but necessary, providing just enough income to keep them afloat. As the children grew older and more independent, Arlen felt more comfortable leaving them alone for longer periods. On his first extended trip, he returned after a month with gifts, chicken, and candy, a cause for celebration amidst their hardships. However, as the children grew, so did their needs. The simple, meager meals barely sustained them, and their already thin frames became even more gaunt. Occasionally, kind neighbors would provide food, but it was never enough. Realizing the importance of education, they managed to send Lyle to school, the brightest of the group. Upon returning home, Lyle would eagerly teach the others to read and write, sharing whatever knowledge he had gained. Arlen's trips became longer and more frequent, each return marked by new bruises and scars. The scrap tech he scavenged was becoming harder to find, and he often ventured into increasingly dangerous areas. 2 more years passed in the blink of an eye. The children were now teenagers, sometimes finding odd jobs to help out, while others worked the fields near their home. Arlen, now too old and worn out for his lengthy scavenging trips, knew he needed a new plan to provide for his adopted family. Desperation led him to join an expedition group, headed for a low-level portal. His reputation for survival skills made him a valuable addition as a porter. Though risky, this job promised better pay and a chance to change their fortunes. Before leaving, Arlen gathered the children, now young adults, and promised them he would return soon. The expedition was expected to last 2 months. "When I come back," he said, "things will be easier for us. We'll have more food, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way to get one of those crystals." The day of departure arrived. The children clung to Arlen, their worry etched into their faces. Lyle, now a confident young man, tried to hold back tears. "Promise you'll come back, Uncle," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I promise," Arlen replied, hugging each of them tightly. "Take care of each other while I'm gone. I'll be back before you know it." As he walked away, the weight of his promise pressed heavily on his shoulders. The journey ahead was fraught with peril, but Arlen's determination to secure a better future for the children gave him strength. The expedition set out under a sky tinged with the colors of dusk, a sense of foreboding hanging in the air. Days turned into weeks, and the challenges of the expedition tested every ounce of Arlen's endurance. The low-level portal loomed closer, a gateway to the unknown. Each night, as he lay beneath the stars, Arlen thought of the children, their faces a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. But the world was unforgiving. The dangers they faced grew more formidable with each passing day. Monsters lurked in the shadows, and the threat of betrayal among the group loomed. Arlen's resolve never wavered, driven by the promise he made to those he loved. Finally, the portal stood before them, a swirling vortex of uncertainty. The expedition prepared to breach it, unaware of what awaited on the other side. Arlen's heart pounded in his chest as he took a step forward, the weight of his mission heavy on his soul. And then, just as they crossed the threshold, a blinding light engulfed them, and everything went dark.